Welcome back to the series. Today we're talking about fasting and elite athletes. Day number 18 of the fun facts about fasting. So I don't know if you can hear or if the microphone can pick up the amount of torrential rain that's going out outside. But it actually brings back memories of me playing football when I was young in the park. Muddy, the clothes were like white and they became brown from all the grass. And this gave me an idea of me wishing and dreaming of becoming an elite athlete when I was younger. That didn't happen. Oof, that's quite loud. That didn't happen, unfortunately, but I still enjoy watching sports, playing sports, trying to see how fast and how agile I can get, how much I can push my body by learning from the greats of each sport that I'm very fascinated with, in particular tennis. Now, some of the greatest athletes I love to listen to, watch, see them train, see them develop. Muhammad Ali, as we know, one of the best, if not one of the greatest athletes ever. Usain Bolt, Michael Phelps, who I'm fascinated with, Rafa Nadal, my favorite tennis player, Dominic Thiem, who's another tennis player who just works incredibly hard, and many, many more. Cristiano Ronaldo from the football world. Um, just the physicality, the athleticism, the even the biochemistry, the body chemistry, the exercise physiology, all of these really cool research terms into how a person becomes that consistent, mentally that strong, physically that fast, that quick, that agile, that technically gifted, and you can tell that how passionate I am about um, strength and conditioning, sports and fitness. I didn't wear these sports tops for this; it was just a coincidence. But I wanted to share how fasting can actually help elite athletes and some of the misconceptions that you probably hear on the news around fasting. So I'll be the first to say that if you're looking at trying to use fasting and balance of fasting to improve athletic performance, you're probably not going to get that amazing results because it's not designed for that. Fasting is not designed to boost aerobic capacity or boost, strength response and muscle mass from that point of view. And when I was going through my research, looking into this, I saw a lot of this about fasting or fasting mimicking diets or time restricted fasting, all of these different terms, intermittent fasting, all of these different terms for the same thing essentially, which is limiting the window in which you eat. I saw a lot of this about it's not ideal for athletic performance, it's not ideal for endurance athletes, and rightly so, and I completely agree with that. But that often gets extrapolated to fasting is just not great at all. But there is a few things that are actually really, really incredible and really useful for athletes and even amateur athletes and people who are just interested in sports and fitness. Now, one of the best ways to look at this is taking it down to one of the bare kind of basics in terms of what do athletes want. Now, irrespective of the field, whether it's tennis, sports, soccer, I don't know why I went American there. Um, Olympics, you've got World Championships, rugby, you name it. There is a commonality across all of it, which is all athletes want to reduce inflammation on their body, their bones, their tissue long term. They want to improve and maximize or actually boost human growth hormone, which is a very key hormone to help build muscle mass, lean mass, get into that kind of productive zone. And something you see a lot of supplements to try and do that. And actually, lastly, improve metabolic efficiency and efficacy to make sure that we're keeping that lean body mass and that particular body composition for that required sport. Now, I'm sure you'll agree with me that those are three really good things that athletes would love to do. And actually, fasting helps to do those three things. Now, we mentioned in a previous episode early on in the series about how does fasting help to limit inflammation? How does fasting help to enhance anti-inflammatory episodes? Because one of the biggest things that plagues athletes and especially elite athletes is injury, as because you got to remember, elite athletes and training at that level is not beneficial for your body. It's actually quite harmful, which is why they have injuries and they can't last till they're 50 and 60. It takes a toll on the body. So if you can introduce cycles of fasting where possible to try and minimize or reduce some of the effects of chronic inflammation, that's of course going to be welcome. Secondly, if you want to, those who are trying to boost the amount of muscle performance, muscle mass, muscle efficacy, fasting can actually help to increase and really enhance boost human growth hormone. And it's a very key hormone for many athletes for many reasons. And that's how fasting can actually help via that angle. And lastly, we know the importance and how meticulous sports nutrition is now, down to the calorie, down to the individual microgram of fat, protein, carbohydrates, fiber. So we know that how important it is to make sure that athletes are metabolizing as efficiently as they can for their body type. And we know that burning fats, where possible, burning carbohydrates is incredibly important for elite athletes. But we know that the whole metabolic process is massively, massively important the more optimized it is. And we know fasting gives our body the ability to detox itself, to cleanse itself, to optimize and fine tune itself where possible. And the last thing I want to mention on this third point is that when you're eating the right foods in that fasting window, you're optimizing and you're training your body to make use of that more often, because the body's like, right, I'm not going to get this that often. I need to make sure that I'm going to be utilizing it where possible. And the reason why I'm mentioning all of these may be slightly convoluted, which I apologize if it was. But the reason why is that these in combinations work really well together. Now, if you look at the first one, which was about reducing inflammation, and the last one, which was about making sure we improve our metabolism and eating the right things, essentially. One thing that we can combine here in a fasted state that's really useful is if a person is taking a lot more omega-3 fatty acids, it's really important for cell integrity. So we know that inflammation and decline in terms of tissue and bones can occur when the cells are not as integral as they used to be. But we know that the cell membrane is really important to hold that together, essentially. And omega-3 fatty acids has been really shown to improve that cellular integrity, to keep these kind of muscle cells, what we call myofibers, myotubules, really intact, which is going to be very, very important for elite athletes. So the research around this is in the description box as well, for the inflammation, for the improving human growth hormone, and also the omega-3 fatty acid element. So I just wanted to share in this episode the ways that, yes, I'll be the first to say that there are more suited diets long term for elite athletes, but it's not to say that fasting should be ruled out completely, because as I just alluded to, there are some key benefits if introduced in the right way, in the right manner, in the right schedule. That could be useful for elite athletes, especially in the off season, perhaps when they are not training as much and not in competition, and they want to minimize the damage to their body. So I hope you enjoyed that episode. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you haven't subscribed already, I would be super appreciated if you could do so, because it would help me and the channel so far. I've been putting out these videos daily, and it's a lot of work, and I've really enjoyed it, and I would love to do more and more, and you supporting me is going to help me do just that. But in any case, I shall see you in the next episode. Take care.